everyone, OC here, aka Icon7, and today I will be covering up something that pro survivors or competitive survivors use in Dead by Daylight to navigate the map way easier and to communicate way easier. And what I'm talking about is clock callouts. I already made a video on this like a few months ago, almost a year ago, but I decided to make a new one, a more in-depth and detailed one. I will be covering up one map from each realm. So for example, there's 5 Macmillan maps, but I only will be covering up one. Same thing with Coldwind and Autohaven and so on. So in case you are in a match and you want to know the numbers, you can just open this video. I will be adding timestamps as well, so it's way easier for you to skip to the timestamp that you're playing on and you can just practice it from there. So without further ado, let's get straight into the guide. So the first one I will be covering up is Cold Tower. As you can see on the top left, you have Shaq, which is the S inside of a square, which means this is Shaq. And if you can see, it's located between 6 and 5. So if you spawn here and you tell your teammates I spawned at Shaq, they know where you spawned. Now I'm heading towards 5. Now I'm here standing in 5, basically in a TL. Now if I'm getting chased, I can just tell my teammates I'm looping the killer at 5. Now I'm heading more towards 4 and 3 as well. So if you're getting on a gen, you can tell your teammates I'm doing the gen at 4 or at 3. There's a jungle gym at 3, this is 3. So you can tell your teammates the pallet in 3 is gone. So it's really important to make the right callouts as well. If you use a jungle gym at 3, you can tell your teammates I just dropped the pallet at 3, so all your teammates know what is going on and what pallet is still up and already gone. Now I'm heading more towards 2. This is like, you know, a tile in 2. And over here you have the hill at 1. And then I'm going towards main. Behind main it's 12. It's pretty much like a clock. You just have to imagine you have a watch on your wrist and you can just, you know, start from there. As you can see, I'm behind main, which is 12. We all know main on the map, as you can see on the top left, is just main. And then over here, I'm going more towards 11. As you can see, 11, 12, and 1 is top. That is the top side of Cold Tower. 11, 12, and 1. A lot of killers like to hold a 3 gen here. Sometimes there is a gen spawning at 11, then there is a gen spawning inside of main, and then a gen near the hill on the other side at 1. So as we know, the corner over there is 11. Right now I'm at 10, I'm near a 4 lane, and now I'm going towards 9. And you can tell your teammates I'm working on a gen at 9, or you can, like, you know, there's a pallet here, a jungle gym between 8, 9. You can tell your teammates I'm looping the killer at 8 at this point. I'm looping at 8. I'm using a filler pallet there. I'm basically just dropped the filler pallet at 8. And from there you can go back all the way to 7. And of course back to your own position. This is 6 over here where I'm standing. And then, you know, obviously Shag, which is, you know, between 6 and 5. And if you're standing like right here, and you don't really know what to say to your teammates, you can just say I'm at bottom mid. This is like the bottom mid. And if you go more towards up, you see where the hatch is kinda right there. You can tell your teammates I'm like top mid, and, you know, just to be a little bit more informative for your team. Azarov's resting place, starting from Shaq, which is all the way in the bottom, we have 6 and 7 on each side of the Shaq. So 7 on this side, and we have 6 on this side, and so on. If you go all the way over there, this is 5 all the way over there, and this is all the way over there is 4. When you look on the little map, you can also see the corner right here, and that's how you know and easier locate 4. And all the way over here on the other side, you have 9. And, you know, you get the idea. Over here, I'm like at mid. This pallet gym is in mid, so I can just, you know, go all the way to top mid here. This is top mid. And then on the right slightly, we have a TL, which is still top mid, you know, close to 3 located. So once again, you have this over here, which is at 3, and then you have a corner over here again, which is like between 2 and 3, and then this jungle gym is basically at 2. You can just go all the way to 1. Remember the corners right here? These corners make it easier for you to see where I am. Then you have main building, and behind main, of course, which is 12, and then you have 11 on this side, basically the hill, the gen. So if you're completing the gen, you can just say I completed the gen at 11, and then yeah, you go all the way back to 9 from here. Same thing on Coldwind on Torment Creek. As you can see, Shaq is between 4 and 5, and main building is obviously top side. And we start from Shaq, of course. As you can see, I'm heading more towards 4. This is a jungle gym at 4. Now I'm heading more towards 3 as well. Now I'm at 3. This is 3 over here. And now I'm heading more towards 2. And basically so on. Once you know it from one map, you can kind of like know how it is on certain maps as well. But I'm also going to show examples on maps where Shaq is not always 4 or 5. So sometimes Shaq can spawn at 7 as well. But as you can see over here, you see this corner of the map. If you look at the map on the top left, this is between 1 and 2. And then you have another corner, and that is between 1 and 12. This is also a good way to remember on which side you are of the map or which number you are on the map. And of course, as you can see, main and behind main is 12. And then obviously you go to the other side, which is 11. Remember the corner right here. As you can see, 12, 11, that corner. Now you have a filler pallet at 11 as well. Now we have Trapper here standing AFK. This is my friend helping me out. I really appreciate that. But yeah, as you can see, now I'm heading towards 10, 9, 8, this side of course. You have a pallet here, a filler pallet at like 9. And then, you know, you go more towards down. Now you're at like 8. This is a jungle gym at 8. Remember the corners, of course. As you can see, you have a corner over here, which is the corner between 8 and 7. And then you have a pallet gym over here, which is like at 7. And then you're heading more towards 6. And now you're at 6 at this point. So, of course, you also have bottom mid, of course, and top mid. You can use that on this map as well, of course. So right now I'm like at bottom mid over here. And then when you go more towards up, you can tell I'm at top mid. Here we have Shaq spawning at 7, as you can see. This is Crow to sprint. Shaq is at 7, and now I'm heading more towards 6, as you can see. Remember the corners of the map as well. As you can see, this corner, you can see it, this is like 6, 5, and then when you go more towards that corner over there, so now I have a pallet gym, and when I go more towards that corner, I have 5, 4. But of course, you can tell your teammates like, I'm looping at the pallet gym at 5, so they know where you are. And of course, if you tell them I just used the pallet at 5, they know that the pallet at 5 is gone. Then you have this corner, of course, which is between 5 and 4 as well. And then so on, you have a TL over here, which is like at 4. And then you can start heading more towards 3. As you can see, I have a filler pallet at 3 that I can use and play around with. And so on, you know, you can just go to like 2 then, and then 1. And then so on and so on. On this map, it also shows a C, which means the circus, which is located at the top. And this is basically 12. So you can say like, I'm looping circus 11, I'm looping circus 1, and your teammates will know in which direction or where in the circus you are, you know? And of course, remember the corners, of course, as you can see the corner 10 over here. So you're at 10. And so on, you just head towards 9 and 8 again, and then of course you have main building, which is in the middle. But as you can see, Shaq does not always spawn at 5. Sometimes Shaq spawns at 7, or sometimes even in the middle of the map, and I will cover that up as well. Haddenfield, a map with no Shaq, but no problem. As you can see on the map on the top left, I'm now in the middle, like in the middle of the map, which is in the middle of the street. And of course you have main, which is the house, which we call the Strode house or the Myers house. I don't know what you want to call it. And then when you go like down towards here, you have like bottom mid. As you can see, TM means top mid and BM means bottom mid. Top mid is where the main is, the Strode house. And when you go more towards the left, you have like left mid, and then on the other side you have right mid, and you can start from here, you know, you can know from here. But as you can see, this is main, this is the Myers house, which I like to call it, Strode house, whatever you want to call it. And then when you go towards this side, I'm heading towards 1. It's like the yard, as you can see, this is 1. And then from here, I'm heading more towards 2 again. Remember the corner right here, you can see it, 2. And this is 2 right here. And then on the streets over here, you have 3. And then if you head more towards bottom mid-ish, you have like 4, which is in this house, which is 5 this house. And then you have the H and Y, which means sometimes it can be House of Pain, which is the H, or sometimes it can be the Y, which could be the yellow house. In this case, we have the House of Pain, but then you have 6 as you can see over here, which is the courtyard, you know, the benches, everything over here. This is 6. So now you're like bottom mid 6. And then you can go 7, which is this house over here. And then you get the idea. As you can see 7, you have 8 on that corner over here, so you remember it easier. And then you have 9 on the left mid on the street, and so on. You go to 10, and 11 shows HY again, because sometimes this can be House of Pain or Yellow House. In this case, we have House of Pain. And then you have the main building again, and so on, you know? So this is a map with no Shag, but this is how you do it. Then we have Larry's, which is actually pretty easy as well. Now, if you look at the map, I'm basically in the library. Now, if I go forward, I'm going to the top side, which is the TV room. So once you know where the TV room is, you know basically 10, 11, 12, 1, and 2. It's all like around the TV room. Now, as you can see, I'm going from the library all the way to the TV room. So now I'm heading to the top side of the map, which is over here, 12. I'm basically at 12 now, and you get the idea. From here, once again, let's go clockwise. We're going all the way to 1 now. This is 1 over here, and now we're heading more towards 2. So then from 2, we're heading more towards 3, and then when we reach 4, 4 is basically next to the library. Same thing with 5, and then we're heading towards 6. We're basically located at 6 now, which is like, as you can see, it's a long square, and that is because we have the long space inside here. Like, we have this palette and we have this palette as well. So this is basically 6, and now I'm heading more towards 7, and from 7, we're heading towards 8. Now 8 is inside in this room. As you can see, it's also a very long square. That is because this is this room, and from here we're going to 9, and then from 9 we're going to 10, which once again is next to the TV room. And then in this corner right here we have 11, and then we're going to our position where we started, which is 12. The Temple of Purgation, starting off from Shaq. As you can see on the map, the S inside of the square is Shaq. Now I'm heading towards 9. This is 9 over here. And from here, I'm heading towards 10. As you can see, 10 is next to a corner. And this is the corner that I'm talking about right here. It's like between 10 and 11. Now I'm heading towards 11. This is 11 over here near this filler palette. Now, if you use this filler palette, you can tell your teammates, I use the filler palette in 11. Now I'm heading towards 12, which is behind main. And we have a filler palette behind main as well, basically at 12. And then from 12, we go to 1. There's a filler palette over there as well. And from 1, we're heading towards 2. And remember the corner right here between 2 and 3, which is this one. You can see it clearly on the map as well. And then from 3, we're going to 4. And remember the corner right here, because this corner is between 4 and 3. So this corner right here, which is located between 3 and 4. And then at 4, we have a pallet gym, which is this one right here. And then we're heading towards 5. And then from 5, we're heading more towards 6, 7, and 8, of course, until we made it all the way to Shaq. Now, let's say you're doing this gen next to the Shaq. You're basically doing the gen, you can say near Shaq, or you can just say at 8. If you say at 8, they know at which side you are of the Shaq. If you just say near Shaq, they don't really know which specific side you're on. Then we have the Grim Pantry. Starting from Shaq, as you can see, 6. 6 on the map is Shaq. I'm heading more towards, you know, the middle of the map now, but I'm not gonna go there yet. This is the middle over there. But as you can see, from Shaq, to the left side from Shaq, from my POV, you have like 7, 8, 9, and 10 is the lodge. This is like 11 over here. When you look at the map, the corner right here is like 11. You can see it clearly. From 11, so this is 11. From 11, we're heading towards main building. And of course, behind main building, it's 12. And then the other side of the main building. And then from 1 to, you reach the docks, which is 3 and 4. And then 5, which is between the docks and Shaq, and then you're back on your own position. Then on the Yamaoka family residence, this is actually an easy one. From Shaq all the way to the main building is basically 7, 8, 9, and then when you reach 9, like near this corner, once again, that's where you enter 10, and then you have a jungle gem at 10, and you have a filler palette at 11. And then of course you have main building with 12 behind main, and then the other side, which is basically 1, 2, 3, and then you see that corner again, then you're entering 4, and then 5, 6, and back to Shag. Ormond is pretty easy as well, starting off from Shag all the way to the little house, that little lodge, is basically, so Shag is 5, and all the way to that little house over there is basically 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now I'm located at 3, this is 3 right here, and over here you have main of course, and then you have the house which is located at 2, well between 1 and 2, the corner right here behind the house is 1, and then you have this jungle gym here, heading more towards 12, you have a filler palette at 12 over here, and so on. Then you go to the other side of the map, you have 11, and then you have this corner right here, which is basically 10, and then you can go all the way down again, and you have 9, 8, 7 is all the way in the bottom, and yeah. Then we have the Dead Dog Saloon, which as you can see, 8 on the map is the T, which means the tower. This whole long square between 8 and 4 are all the buildings over here. So basically, I'm located at 8, and now I'm heading more towards the Shack. The end on the street where I spawned was basically 9 as well. So now I'm at Shack. Now I'm heading more towards 10. This is 10 over here. All the way in that corner where the gen is 11. And then I'm heading more towards 12, which is a little bit to my left, and you can see a filler palette at 12 as well. So then I'm at 1, which is like, you know, close to main. And then you have main building, of course, with behind main, you have 2. So now I'm at 2, and then when I head towards the end of the street, I'm heading towards 3. And then the end of the buildings, you have 4. And that's that, you know? Then we have Garden of Joy, starting from Shaq once again. We are at 5-4. I'm heading more towards 6 now. So we have this jungle gym here at 6. And then I'm heading more towards 7. And then from 7, I'm going to be heading all the way to the cars on the other side, which is basically 8. So these cars over here is basically 8. And then when you take a close look at the map, you have the street, which is basically from 8, and the other side of the street is 4. So once I'm at 4, I can just head towards 3. Then I'm heading more towards 2, where we have a TL, and then we have 1 over here as well. And then you have main building, of course, with behind main 12, of course. And then on the other side of main, you have 11. And then when you're heading more towards this house, this could be a house or a pavilion. I don't know how to say it. But this is basically 10. And then you have a jungle gym at 9. And yeah, that's that, you know? Then we have the Shattered Square, which Shaq is located at 6. And then when I'm heading more towards this side, I'm heading more towards 5. And then all the way over here, you have 4. And then from 4, I'm heading more towards 3. And now I'm heading more towards 2. So this is 1, this weird tile. And then I'm heading more towards 12. This is a pallet gym close to 1, and then we're heading more towards 12. As you can see, we have a jungle gym at 12, which is close behind main kinda-ish. Main building, of course, which is not located perfectly in the middle, of course. Then at 11:10, you have this filler pallet. Now I'm heading more towards 9. This gen is basically located at 9. Now we're at 8 on this 4-lane looking like jungle gym. And then at 7, you have a filler palette here. And then from here, you're going all the way back to 6, which is basically Shag. And then you have the middle of the map, which is basically the tree right here next to the main building. Alright, on the game, I'm basically standing at 6 now. This is 6 over here. With the bathroom underneath me, this is 6. Now, if I want to go all the way to 12, it's going to be on the opposite side of the map. So I'm going all the way over to 12, which is like the opposite side of the map. This is 12 right here. And as you can see, 12, we have 1 next to 12, which is the exit gate, which is over here. This is 1. And then we have 2, which is next to it, which is right here. This is 2. The stairs right here, the drop down. And then we have 3 over here with this pallet over here. Then we have 4 on this side with a drop down here. And then we have 5 with this drop down the stairs over here. And then we're basically back at 6. And if you want to go from this side, we have 7 over here. And then as you can see, we have 8, which is basically the exit gate. And then from 8, we have 9, which is the drop down over here. The same thing applies when you're downstairs. Nothing changes. It's just the same, except your downstairs. So starting from Shaq, as you can see on the top left on the map, you can see we have 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 on this side. So basically this building is like 3 and then 2 as well, and then 1 is all the way in the corner over here. On this side we are at 12, basically behind main. This is 12 over here. Over here we are at 11. And then when we go on this side over here, we are basically at 10. And then from 10, we're going all the way to 9, which is over here. And then from 9, we're going all the way to 8 and 7, which is located over here. And this building on this side is basically 6. And from here, we're going all the way back to Shaq, located between 5 and 4. Area of Crows, we have Shaq located between 8, 7. And then we're going all the way clockwise. We have this pallet gym at 8, 9. And then this corner right here, we're entering 10. This is a filler pallet at 10. And then we have main building, which is basically located at 12 because behind main building, there is nothing much, to be honest. So main building is pretty much 12. And then on the other side, we have 1. So we have 1 over here. And then from 1, we're going all the way to 2, which is over here. And then 3, which is on this 4 lane. And then we have 4, which is over here. And then from here, we're going all the way back to Shaq, which you have 5, 6, 7. Now I'm located at 6 over here, the opposite side of main. And now I'm located at 7, which this filler pallet. And yeah, now we're back at Shag. On Midwitch, you can see on the map, there is something that's called CT, which means clock tower. This is the clock tower. And when you look at the clock tower, behind the clock tower, you have 4 over here. Between 4 and 5, you have the stairs. So when I look all the way over there, this whole hallway is from 4 all the way to 2 on the other side. And when I look on this side from the hallway, you have from 5 all the way to 8. Now, if I make it all the way to the other side over here, which is basically 2, I'm basically located at 2. And on the other side of the hallway, we should be finding the stairs, and that's going to be 11. There you go, the stairs, and now we're located at 11 with the god pallet over here. And then on the other side of the hallway over here, we're going from 10 basically all the way to 8. And as you can see on 8, there is a line between the 8 on the box. That means it's the bathroom. It's over here. This is the line between the bathroom. And yeah, that's that, you know? Same thing here, it doesn't matter whether you are upstairs or downstairs, it's going to be the same numbers, except it's going to look different. And over there is the gate at 12. As you can see, the clock tower, and this is 6, the gate, and on the other side, it's 12. On RPD West Wing, starting off from the exit gate over here, we have the street on this side. As you can see, we have nothing from here. I'm basically at 6 over here. As you can see, 6, there is nothing to my left, it's closed. And we have the street to my right. This is 12 over here. Now, if I go to my left, all the way over here, I'm basically at 9. This is located at 9 over here. 3 is located on the end of the street, which is over here. And basically, on a map like RPD, you don't really need to know all the numbers. Once you know 12, 3, 6, and 9, you can play around that. So basically, this is 3. Now, we all know 12 is over there, right? I'm basically at 1 now. You just have to, like, play around it. You know where 12 is, and if you pretend you're looking at your watch, you know that now I'm at 1. And then so on. When I continue running over here, I'm at 2. And then I can make it all the way to 3, which is over here. The whole thing with clock callouts, once you know the 4 base numbers, which is 6, 9, 12, and 3, you can basically just, you know, start making your callouts from there. Sometimes you don't even have to memorize all the numbers. With Tuba Landing, I wasn't really familiar with it in the first place, and I still get confused sometimes on this map, just because it's new. But as you can see, Shaq is basically located at 6, 7-ish, in between. And going from here, you can see that this is going like diagonally. We're going all the way to 9 over here. So basically, over here is 9. So we're now located at 9. And then from here, you just continue until you get all the way to 11. As you can see, we are basically located at 11. And this over here is like 10 on this side. And then from 11, which is over here, you have 12, which is behind main. So once you are here, you know where you are at 12. So you have main building, you're located at 12. And then next to main, of course, you have 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then all the way back to 6, which is really close to Shaq. So yeah, these are the map callouts. If you want every map, you can find them on my Discord as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Mommy knows she loves you. Bye.